Welcome back, everyone, to the CrossFit Games podcast. I'm your host, Chase Ingraham, and I have two very important guests with a competition coming up for the Masters division. The founders of the Legends Masters Championships. I have Joe Linton and Bob Jennings. Gentlemen, welcome. I'm so excited to be talking about what we have coming up next weekend, or less than a week away, right? It's starting on Thursday.
Yeah. It's coming up quick, man.
So if you guys haven't put on a competition that are listening or watching, I have, not to the scale of what you guys are doing, but I'm sure you guys have all the time in the world to carve out about an hour to talk on a podcast. How's the preparation going?
It's going good. It's going good. So, we have it feels like last year, except we're layering in so much more this year. And last year was actually a little bit crazier with us having to travel out to Arizona, and that whole deal. So it's definitely a lot more. There's a lot less unknowables, I guess. We kind of been through a lot of the stressful competition prep from last year, so that kind of helped out this year to feel a little bit easier. But it's definitely a lot more work. But we're a lot more efficient and just know a lot more on how to kind of bring, make the dream come true, really. So it's not too bad yet.
That's exciting. It's crunch time, so that the hay's in the barn, so to speak. I feel like the only things that can happen now are like things that could go wrong.
Pretty much.
When you get this close, how many bumps in the road have we had on the way there, Bob?
They're innumerable, right? But when you get to this point, it's, for the most part, any problem that we see, we've already seen it, right? Like we've gone through this enough times over the last couple of years that, for the most part, we got it all tied up and neat. But so anything that hits us between now and really Wednesday, when the athletes arrive for their check-in, we're just going to roll with it. It's kind of what Joe and I have always done. A problem presents itself, we just roll with it and keep moving. The show must go on.
Classic CrossFit mentality, right? Just take what's given to you and then just get through it the best way you can. So that's coming up this weekend. I want to talk about how things got started, and more importantly, how both of you got started in CrossFit specifically. Joe, I'll start with you. When did you get into CrossFit?
Let me see. I got into CrossFit around 2005 was like my first intro to it. Yeah. I had a kind of a bodybuilding. I think all of us really started out with that bodybuilding type workout that my stepdad showed me growing up as a kid. So I've been lifting for quite a while. I had a good friend that was just got accepted to the LA County Fire Academy, and he wanted to get stronger, so he asked me to train him. I was like, hey man, I'm not a trainer. I just know how to, do my chest and buys, back and tries, legs and shoulders split 3 times a week and double that, right? And so, but we went. I took him through it. He got stronger, and when he came back from the academy, that's where he was introduced to CrossFit. So he's like, hey, let's try this workout. So I was like, all right, I taught him how to work out. I was a lot stronger, and I thought, cool, this is gonna be fun. And the workout was Fight Gone Bad.
Oh, wow. That was your first CrossFit workout?
That was my first one. And it was a punch to the face for sure. He beat my ass. Oh, sorry. He beat me handily.
Yeah, you can say that.
I got, I'm pretty stubborn, especially back in my mid-20s. So I immediately asked him to do it again. And I barely beat him the second time, but it took a lot of effort. And after that, I was hooked. It reminded me of wrestling, just kind of that same feeling I got from wrestling practice, especially wrestling matches. And so it kind of reignited fitness for me, really, because I was going through the bodybuilding cycles, and, I would get burnt out every 4 to 5 months, have to take like a couple of weeks off just because I was bored. And so the introduction to CrossFit helped out a lot to kind of light that fire, and it's been there ever since. I absolutely love it. How many things you have to be at least good at, and there are so many to learn. I couldn't even jump rope when I started. I remember the first day I got 50 single unders in a row, singles, and I was beyond pumped. I was like, this is awesome.
That's
so
funny.
got started back in 2005, and
Wow.
I started lifting though not until about 2010. So I actually didn't start snatch or cleaning or any of that stuff till 2010, and that's a whole separate journey, I think. But yeah, it's been really fun. I'm still just as passionate about it. I absolutely love it. As I get older, the body changes, and just figuring out how to continue to do what I like. So it's been awesome.
I love it. Bob, what about you? When did you get started?
I got started in November of 2012.
Okay.
I showed up at Offshore CrossFit for the first time, and it heard a little bit about CrossFit. I'd heard that at that time the masters age group was 45 and up, and I was 40.
Oh, really? It was 45? It wasn't below that?
Yeah. 2012 was the last year where it was just 45 and up.
Okay.
And I've competed most of my life in various aspects of my life, and I wanted to keep competing in a sport, and I felt like CrossFit would fit well for me. I had some, I was bodybuilder, meathead type of guy, right? Had some natural strength, and so I figured, give this CrossFit thing a try, and so I showed up at Offshore in November. Joe hadn't coached any of the classes that I had participated in yet, and we were doing like 4 rep max weighted dips.
Ooh. Wow, that's
on one day. We did like a week, and I tore my pec. Right, like it was the classic like 40-year-old guy didn't want to be showed up by the 20-year-olds, right? And so I loaded whatever it was up, and went for whatever the most was. I added 5 pounds more. Right?
Whatever fit on that chain belt thing that we all used to use back in the day.
And ended up tearing my pec, but recovered in time for January. There was a local comp up in Temecula, California, that I had signed up for in the scale division.
Okay.
And I showed up, without a jump rope. I'd never done wall balls before, right? Like I didn't know what I was doing at all. And I ended up, despite all that, borrowing someone else's jump rope, who, was a guy like, 3 inches taller than me, probably too. I ended up winning that event. And that was really kind of the first time I met Joe, because Joe was there with like 10 other athletes from Offshore. And, it was kind of like, oh, hey, you go to my gym. Congratulations. Nice
you
job.
Showed up and were like, hey, we go to this gym. You did.
But that, that was what lit the fire, and then I started working with Joe a little bit after that. And he had a lot of work to do. I was the classic older athlete that was strong, had no mobility at all. I literally couldn't overhead squat a PVC pipe.
Wow.
But it was, I was going to make it to the games, and Joe was the guy that was going to get me there. And the original plan was to make it when I was 45, and it lined up pretty close to that.
That's awesome. Joe, when you got started, you said you started in 2005. Where you guys did it, was that in an affiliate, or when did you make your way into an affiliate?
That was all 24. I was at a 24-hour fitness.
Okay.
All the 24-hour fitness kind of just.
You did fight gone bad in a 24-hour fitness?
Yeah, we got in trouble the second time. They told us to stop. So I finished up my last round, and then I stopped, of course. Of
course.
But yeah, so it was back at a 24-hour fitness. It was so funny. I remember it was a couple of years of that, and I actually hadn't even heard of affiliates yet. Like CrossFit gym. So
I mean, 2005, there wasn't many around then.
Yeah. It was around 2007 is where a buddy of mine, he said he's going to join a CrossFit gym. I was like, oh, cool. Like, yeah, let me know how it goes. And then he's like, he did a free week and he came back. And again, I'm I'm in my, mid 20s, and, I'm making next to nothing. I'm paying bills. That's about it. And so he comes back and he's like, yeah, the membership's $150 a month. I'm like, what? Like, who do you think I am, dude? I'm like, I can't even afford tint for my windows, bro. Like, I'm not going to spend $150 a month. I'm like, that's crazy to me. And I just didn't know the value of it. So it's funny. I've actually never been a paying member, I guess, of a CrossFit gym, because I just did it on my own. I ended up becoming a trainer at 24 Hour Fitness eventually, and then leaving 24 Hour Fitness to open up a little personal training studio.
Okay.
And that's when, once that started getting out of the Globo gym setting, that's when kind of everything just went full 100% CrossFit. And that's where we had a little studio. Then we moved that little studio to a bigger part of Carlsbad, the downtown area, and we got into a bigger facility. And that's when really the CrossFit gym started. Back in 2011 or 12, somewhere around there.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that little journey. I love that. So, man, 2005. That's one of the older OG starters I've heard of, Joe.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah,
Well
it
done.
was. There wasn't a lot of information out there at that time. There wasn't.
there was not.
Try to YouTube it, and there's only a couple videos, and it wasn't really instruction. So it's like, you watch a video of someone doing something, you're like, all right, well, let's try this swinging pull-up. What is this?
Yeah.
So
the only thing we knew is like, apparently we need to play Rage Against the Machine or System of a Down. We're not allowed to wear shirts, and I guess I need an arm sleeve tattoo. Those are the only instructions that I have.
Yeah, you're set up. You're good to go. You're ready to go CrossFit with all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. All right, so Bob, you come in around 2012, then you guys meet. How has that relationship grown with the two of you since 2012, Bob, and you coming in?
Well, I've probably been Joe's most difficult client to coach. Right. So, he jumped right in. He saw some raw talent, right, and a desire to, with some goals around that, right, and not speaking for Joe, but he jumped in when I asked him to coach me privately and help me, on this journey to kind of make the games, right, and he suffered through a lot of my like pigheadedness, right? Like I wasn't gonna learn how to squat snatch because I could split snatch 225, and why do I need to learn how to squat snatch if I can
naturally, right?
And and I wasn't gonna learn how to squat clean because my power clean was more, and my way of thinking was like, well, I'll just keep getting stronger, and I don't ever need to kind of take care of any of those problems.
Squatting for wussies.
Yeah, right. So he let me learn some hard lessons, right? He's a smart coach, right? It's the you got to let the athlete figure it out for themselves every once in a while, and we let's see, I qualified for Wadapalooza for the first time in 2015, I want to say. Joe, is that right?
Oh, okay.
And that was like the rainy year, the super rainy year where
that was a rough year.
Yeah.
Was that day 2 or day 1?
I think
it was kind of all of them, but like I think it was day 2, had a workout that had 265-pound squat cleans. Ooh. And like this is for masters too, and like 70-pound dumbbell squat snatches or something, right, Joe?
Yeah.
And legless row climbs too. It started off with like legless row climbs.
Yeah,
and
it was a crazy. I was like, it was a crazy workout for one, just the setup of it being so rainy, but also like, well, your current squat clean at that time was like 240.
I don't even know if I had ever officially done an actual squat clean at that point.
Yeah. So I'm like, we're gonna warm up, and you're gonna go out there, and we're gonna PR your squat clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah. and that basically is what happened, right? Like, I got no rep on the first one, right? And then, and then settled in. Didn't get any of the 70-pound dumbbell squat snatches, but that would have been asking a little bit too much for the guy who literally when he started couldn't overhead squat a PVC pipe, right?
Right.
But a lot of patience from him and hard work from the both of us kind of evolved my competitive career, to the point now where when I listen to him, I do really well. And when I try to run my own game plan, things tend to go off the rails a little bit. So,
Joe, how does that feel to hear? That's got to be the best.
I mean, it feels good to hear that, right? That what your goal is to help out an athlete accomplish, especially like when someone says they want to make the games. It's like, okay. And he said that. He said he wanted to compete. He said he wanted to make the games. And I forget who I'm stealing this from, but I'm sure it's many people. I think it's Ben Bergeron was like, who are you as a coach to tell someone that comes into your gym and say, or laugh at, or, diminish someone's goal of making the games, they could possibly do it. And so, I was kind of like thought that, and yeah, Bob, he had a lot of work to do, but what I saw was one, his strength, but more so was the effort. Like he wanted it, and most people think they do. They think they want it. They don't realize how much it takes. And there was nothing that was going to hold him back. And it was more of guiding. A lot of times forcefully, I'm like, hey, do not work out today. You need, and so, locking him out of the gym or something. So it's nice to see the journey in hindsight, but like going through it, I was learning a lot too. I was like, all right, split snatch. I can do it. I've seen it. Bob's going to be the first person that I've really coached to 1 rep max it. It's like you kind of use it as a fringe movement. And I think it was in the games one year, a long time ago.
Kind of. I mean,
but it wasn't really like, it was super light, and it wasn't really splitting, it was like a staggered little lunge, but
staggered snatch.
Yeah. And so just taking him through the journey, being there along with him, but also it was exciting because I did recognize that this is going to help me be a better coach for many other people as well, because I'm going to have to learn a lot of new techniques, a lot of new coaching points to get this athlete to where he wants to be. So all the work that we put in together has definitely helped out me training other clients as well. So it's nice to see that carry over too.
That's cool. So basically, like, if you can get Bob to do it, you can get anybody to do it. That's what you're trying to say, right?
Absolutely.
Well, that's cool. I love to hear the journey of both of how you guys got into CrossFit and when, and then your journey that you guys have together as athlete and coach, and obviously friends, and now the journey that is the Legends Masters Championships. And what we have coming up this weekend, well, really Thursday, is a 4-day Masters Championships. That is going to be multiple events each day. It's going to be in San Diego. It's a destination. You guys had regional qualifiers. You had online qualifiers to get there. But the journey to get here did not start that way. When did you guys decide you were going to put on a Masters competition?
So that was I had just come back from some comp. I think it was probably Granite Games. It had to be Granite Games because it was like the middle of the summer. And that was like my second major competition that I competed in. And we were just kind of sitting around in the gym warming up and getting ready for the day. And we're talking about how, masters are just not, they're largely ignored at the bigger competitions, right? And we felt that there was an opportunity to, create a Wadapalooza like event or create a Granite Games like event for masters only. You look at the statistics, right? Nearly half or now more than half of the participants in the CrossFit Open are masters, right? So you're looking at 150,000 plus people. there's a lot of brand loyalty. There's disposable income. There's all the things that sponsors would want to kind of rally around. And we instead of bitching about it, we decided, let's just go create our own, right? I mean, these other guys have their own model, and that's great, and it's they do a good job servicing the overall CrossFit community, but we wanted to specifically target the Masters community and do the best job there. So, Joe had run a bunch of competitions out of the gym prior to that point, and so we knew what it was like to run a local comp, and so we just kind of threw it out there, and I started recruiting local Masters athletes to come compete at a one-day event back in 2017, and we got 36 people there. We begged 36 people to show up.
That's how it starts, right?
Do our one-day event, right? And it could have been, we could have very easily looked at that and said, all right, this is a failure, right? We only got 36 people here, but we kind of chose to look at it the other way, and we always had a longer term plan around it, which was build it up enough so it gets to a place where we can do an online qualifier, have a 3-day event, and that'll be kind of the nirvana that we're trying to seek.
Okay.
And the plan was to do that in 3 years. And
man, that is bold. I'm going to tell you right now, that is a good for you of like already thinking that far ahead after a 1-day 36 participant event.
Yeah. Just based on where we wanted to get to, right. And what we were trying to deliver to the Masters community, we felt like that was the only way to get there. And we also realized, okay, we don't, there's not a brand behind us. There wasn't really any sponsors behind us, right? Like, we're just going to have to do this. And we're just going to have to put it out there, and hopefully people show up. And they did. In 2019, that was the first year that we ran the online qualifier and the 3-day event. And I think, what did we have, Joe? We had 350 people do the online qualifier.
Yep, 382. 382.
Yeah. And we had 120-ish compete in the live event.
Yeah.
Wow.
And and then from there we're like, all right, man, this is it. This thing will take off. We had people come in from Argentina, right? Like,
crazy.
all around the world coming into San Diego for this event that nobody had ever heard of before, to compete. And we realized, okay, our thesis was right. We're on to something here. Let's keep putting, let's keep putting elbow grease behind this and drive it up to what it is today.
Well, I think it's so admirable looking at how you guys got started and approached this. One was, you just said it, there wasn't really anything outside of maybe the game season that was dedicated solely to Masters, right? Masters have been a part of off-seasons events, but they were just a part of it. There wasn't a priority shift to that. And instead of complaining about it, which most people do, you guys went and decided you're going to make your own event exclusive to Masters athletes. And then you started with a 1-day competition in 2017 in-house. And in 3 years, you have 382 participants in the online qualifier for a 3-day event. I think that's absolutely incredible, and really shows that, your desire and your inclination of there is a need for this and people want this was spot on. And you guys were in the middle of giving the Masters community something like this outside of the game season. So I think it's incredible what you guys started with and where you've gotten so far.
To see the exponential growth too coming the following year, right, in a COVID year. So 2019 was the first year that we did the online qualifier and the 3-day event. And then we followed that up in 2020, and the online qualifier was like 1,500 people.
I signed up for that. I did.
Yeah, right. Like almost. We had just under 300 people competing out in a parking lot in Arizona, for 4 days at that point. in the peak of COVID, right? Which I think just further proves out the thesis behind all this, that masters are dying to have their own stage, right? I mean, they're willing to go through whatever it takes to do it. And, I'm really proud of the masters community that they've jumped in like this.
Joe, how's it feel to get the support like that from the masters community, not knowing where it was really going to go the first time you guys put on an event?
Yeah, so the first single day events, like Bob said, and we did a lot of, Bob said recruitment, but it was more like begging.
Yeah.
It was like we were like, please come do this, know. And so they came out, and it was cool. So they came out, and it felt really cool just to see people move the way they do and how well they move. Seeing 55 plus year old women do chest, I was like, like seriously, this is it right here. This needs to have a spotlight. And so year 3, just all the gratitude everyone had, and to see everyone so happy at the event, and to kind of see what we created in year 3. It was at my gym. We had, we used the parking lot behind the go-kart business next door. We were scrambling for volunteers because ourselves, and from the little bit of registration money we could raise, and to see the support, especially from people that we haven't even met personally. The messages we get, the emails we get, it's awesome to see how many people are so like-minded and are so excited to see what we have coming out next. And so it's a huge drive for us to kind of continue to provide, or to get closer to this. At this point, Bob, I think it's like a never-ending goal of what we want to build. It's like, can we just keep layering more and more and keep doing everything better? And so it's the support from the masters community is amazing, and it's definitely a big drive to keep growing and growing and growing, because we want to do a lot more exciting stuff, and without their support, we're not going to be able to do it. So it's nice to be able to use their support to create more stuff for them.
And I like how you guys are already thinking past what's coming up next weekend. Like, I'm looking at your event this weekend as like, this is the biggest off-season masters event I've ever heard of or seen. And in talking to you guys previously of what you have planned for the athletes, I'm like, this is it. And you're not thinking that way. Like, you're already thinking about the next 5 years.
Yeah. We got events planned for next year's championship already loosely in our heads. We're like, ooh, this would be cool. Ooh, this would be cool. Ooh, this. And so it's this happened last year. A few of the workouts you're going to see next week, we programmed 12 months ago. Mm-hmm. So, and then refined it slowly. And so, it's definitely, we're thinking at least 3 to 5 years in advance right now.
So looking into this weekend, we talked your first year was back in 2017. It was one day. You're basically like paying people to come to this thing. And now you're like, okay, in 3 years, we want to have an online qualifier and to get people to qualify for a 3-day event. And this year, you guys did something that people have been asking for what seems like 5 years. And you guys actually created a live event qualification system for your championship competition this weekend. Where did that idea come from, and what made you guys pull the trigger on it this year?
I don't really know where the idea came from exactly, other than the masters community itself, right? I mean, we had heard it as much as you had, right? Like, masters deserve regional qualifying, right? Yeah. And we're huge fans of live competition, not only from a spectator perspective, but we think that it helps build the overall community a lot better than online competition. And so, yeah, I mean, that was kind of coming out of the first year with the 3-day event. We were thinking, all right, well, what can we do better? Coming out of last year, it was what can we do better going into this year? And it was, all right, well, let's start adding the regional qualifiers. Let's start reaching out to people and in kind of major metropolises to and destination cities, and let's figure out how we're going to layer in this regional qualifying system, to get people to the championship. You obviously were a huge help for us in Dallas in the awesome event you ran down there.
Thank you.
We had Shannon out in Vegas, who did an amazing job, and Pete in Atlanta, and then Kurt up in Pennsylvania, and it was awesome, and we even had, we partnered with Filthy 150, so they are sending some athletes out as well. And then we also partnered with the Masters League, who's out in Australia and New Zealand. So they run like a whole league out there and a whole year-long system. And unfortunately, this year, those athletes can't come because their COVID restrictions are just through the roof. But
they're insane.
We're definitely going to do it with them next year. And we want to keep expanding this globally, get the opportunity out there for athletes in Europe and South America and everywhere to make it to San Diego in December.
Well, actually, that was going to be my next question and you answered, it was, who else are you looking at, or are you looking to partner with other Masters, either events or Masters, like I said, leagues that they have in Australia? It's like, where do you see the future of this going other than just your competition on this weekend? And how much do you want to tie the community, not just in the States, but you're already talking worldwide?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we want to get to a place where most of the qualifiers are coming from live events. And since it is a global event at this point, the way for us to get there is we need to get, regional qualifying in South America and more in Europe, up in Canada. Like there's a lot of places where we could hit, where there's a big Masters community that has a lot of fantastic athletes that should be represented here. This past year in the US, Joe and I, had our hands a lot in the regional qualifiers, just because it was the first year. It's not really a scalable model. I think we're going to be less involved in the regional qualifiers this year. And when we look to expand internationally, we're going to be focused on established competitions that want to, highlight their Masters and find a way to get them to the Legends Championship.
Okay. Joe, for you, we talked earlier is you guys are doing or did the programming which coming this weekend. I know myself, I love to program. It's one of my favorite things of CrossFit. Giving that away to regional qualifications is a little bit of a gamble. How tough was that for you guys to let other people take control of a bit of that qualifying process for you?
Yeah, so in the beginning, once we started communicating with these different groups, it was kind of like, we want you guys to program it, but we want to check it out, give final say, just to make sure that it's nothing too weird out there, jumping over metal spiked and whatnot that maybe some competitions have passed.
What are you talking about? So, I've never heard of competition doing that before.
So it's just like, that was our biggest worry. I enjoy other people in their company's programming. I enjoy reading it, checking it out, trying to figure out, dissect it myself without hearing it straight from them, because it sparks ideas for us. It helps us grow as programmers. Because, the more minds you got thinking about something, trying to make it better, I think that it's going to, every competition will begin to, have higher quality programming. You pay more attention to it. It kind of becomes, we like to, our programming is a big cornerstone for us of like what we do and, who we are. We make it difficult, but we put a lot of thought into it. And so I think by allowing, or helping or assisting other companies and those people program and just also letting them go for it, helped us, because we want to see, what are you doing? Why did you do it? How did it work out? Can we incorporate it? How do we make it better? And then we can share that information and then make it better. And then you got a really good growth cycle between, competitions. And like Bob said, linking up with as many competition as possible. I think the more masters competitions we have out there, the bigger Legends will be, the more masters we can support worldwide. So I enjoy seeing other masters competitions grow, do more, try new things. I check out their programming. What are they doing? How do they do it? I'm trying to figure out, why do they do this? And so it's the more the merrier. It's like, hey, bring it on. It's like, to me, it's like a friendly competition. I see another masters comp out there, I want to do better. And and it's to ultimately provide a better pro the masters.
I like that. Well, let's talk specifically.
Giving away watching them other people. Sorry.
Yeah, I think some of the best artists, because I feel like programming and coaching it's an artistry, unlike or not dissimilar from like painting or music or anything like that. But like, I think some of the best artists or are the best borrowers too. They see something fresh and it sparks a new idea that can turn into something, something we've never seen before. So I'm with you as far as seeing other people's programming. I borrow all the time. I'm on every website seeing people's programming. It's like, I never even thought of that. We can take that and turn it into this, and now it's even better. So I'm with you. So let's turn our attention to this weekend. So we have, like we said, it's coming up December 8th. No, I keep saying that wrong. 9th? No, 8th. 9th. Thursday, December 9th. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in San Diego. Now, how many events do you guys have planned for these athletes?
So there's 11, 9 events, 11 scores.
9 events, 11 scores. Like we said, it's going to be a 3 or 4 day competition. And there's the on-site competition, which is at the Sheraton. What's the exact location called in San Diego?
Yeah, it's the San Diego Sheraton Hotel and Marina.
So we have that, and we're seeing all these things like you have this regional qualifier, you have the online qualifier, you have this 4-day event, you have 9 events, 11 scores. But the biggest thing you guys have is, if you cannot be there in person to see this, you guys are providing a live stream of the event. And this isn't some, hey, Instagram live, Facebook live, cell phone with some Yahoo over there talking in the corner about it. Like, you guys are putting on a legitimate live stream. And give us more information about what that's going to be like.
Yeah, so we're working with the same guys that do the live stream for the games. So Hamilton Road Productions have put it together for us, right? Clearly Joe and I are not live stream technicians. And
the fact that we get Joe's camera to flip horizontally was a miracle. So I think,
right, yeah, exactly. That's just basically kind of our philosophy in general, right? Like, let's work with the best that are out there to make this event better. And so, Hamilton Road is doing the event. We have Sean and Bill and Annie are doing the play-by-play, and it's gonna cover, I believe, 8 out of the 11 events are going to be covered in the live stream. It's top notch, man. Just every day working with Charlie and him showing us the graphics and, having prep meetings with Sean and Bill and Annie, it's going to be unreal, and the Masters community and the CrossFit community really needs to tune into this.
Yeah, absolutely. Where is it going to be broadcasted from? Like YouTube, Facebook? Where are you guys putting it?
On YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. Where can they go to see it?
I think probably the best way to get there would be to go through our link tree on Instagram.
Okay.
And we just rebranded our Instagram. So it's @_Legends Championship. And in that link tree. We have our channel. When you get there, don't be shocked. There's not anything on it really just yet. Just how to do heavy double unders with Dave Newman, and that's the only video we have up there right now. But it's a pretty useful one, given that the athletes will be using them again this year, right?
I think that's super cool. Who you have lined up? I mean, like Charlie. I mean, you guys aren't kidding. It's like not only do you have a live stream, you're using the production company that put on the CrossFit Games, that also put on the Rogue Invitational, that are doing all of these things in the community that are top notch, and you're getting Games broadcasters, Sean Woodland, Bill Grundler, and Annie Sakamoto there. I love that you guys have Bill Grundler there. I mean, you're talking about someone who can talk masters with the masters, and Annie Sakamoto as well. Like you, I mean, I almost, if I were even on site, I would probably not show up and just watch the live stream just to get the full effect of the event. Now, I don't recommend doing that. Maybe both. Maybe.
Yeah, have it up.
I always wanted that at the CrossFit Games. Actually, I had a few people talk about this last year. Was I guess NASCAR does this, where if you go to watch a NASCAR event, you can buy like a radio and tap into the actual broadcast while it's going. Because obviously, if you're at a NASCAR event, you can't really hear anything.
Oh yeah.
And so you just watch cars, but you can actually tap into like an FM stream and listen to the broadcast while you watch that event. And I think that'd be so cool to see at the CrossFit Games, because I had a lot of people go, it's like, I love watching it in person, but I miss hearing the broadcast. And if there can be a blend of both, I think would be a really cool future of covering the sport of CrossFit. But the fact that you guys have a live stream with that caliber and quality, I think is another testament of really showing the Masters community how all in you guys are for the Masters community. All the things that people have wanted and begged for, you guys are out here doing it. And you guys are putting in countless amount of hours and dollars to make this happen. I don't think people really understand what the full scope and undertaking it is to put on the event you guys are putting on.
Yeah. Well, and it couldn't happen without our sponsors too, right? I mean, we'd be remiss in not mentioning them. Can we mention a couple of them or not really?
Heck yeah.
All right. Yeah, like so True Grit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna hit True Grit first, Joe, and then
okay.
Cool. True Grit is they've built our custom rig for us, all our bars and plates, the dumbbells, boxes, crash pads, like you name it. The entire setup is coming from True Grit, who's a relatively new equipment company, but local out here, headquartered out in North County, San Diego, and they've gone all in to support the Masters community. CBDMD has gone all in to support the Masters community. Viore has gone all in to support the Masters community. I mean, that's just, a handful right off the top of my head that if it wasn't for them, the live stream, all of this stuff wouldn't be able to happen.
I think it's incredible. So as we're looking towards Thursday coming up, we have the qualifiers, we got the live stream. What are, I would say, some of the biggest hurdles you still have left, or some of the things that are making you the most nervous about this weekend?
Well, first is, I think, Chase, you just sparked a little fire in us to figure out how to make that idea happen that you had about that, because that's all I can think about right now. But
that's great. Just like, shut it down. We got to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, everything. How do we make this happen? We can deal with all that later. How do we make this? Let me see. It's buttoning everything up, and we got a plan for everything that we know of that we need a plan for. Obviously, stuff does pop up, and so now it's just executing it. So I'm not personally too nervous about anything really. It's just I know the amount of work that's left, and work is work. It's going to get done no matter what. So not really need to stress about it. It's just putting in the time to get it done, and just making sure that we button up everything that we want it to. We have, like Bob said, the sponsors. We have the live stream. A big goal for us this year, and me working with the sponsors, is getting cool equipment in the athletes' hands. We wanted to put together a comp that you're going to be able to touch some stuff that you probably don't have at your gym. You probably definitely don't have in your home gym. And and just all the tools like Signs RX, working with them has been an absolute joy to, create and design the look of the competition, because we can have all this other stuff, but without kind of all those
all the little
decorations,
things.
all that stuff that just makes it a good experience, and that's
Right.
like our biggest thing is athlete experience, is making sure that when they come to Legend Championship, they're going to remember it for a long time. They're going to remember it for years, and they're going to bring their family, and it's going to be an experience that they can look back upon and smile. And so working with Signs RX, all the other sponsors, NoCo, Bear Bells, Yearland Mats, we got some charity, some nonprofits coming out, and we're going to help support them. I mean, Assault Fitness and RX Smart Gear, they've been in every year with us, year 5, both of them, which is amazing. And it's just getting athletes the stuff that we promised them, is the biggest thing. And so
all right,
just getting it all executed now.
Nice. Well, let's flip more on things we're looking forward to on a really exciting positive side. Now, without giving too much away, because you guys have said, okay, here's the number of events that we're going to have. Here's the number of scores. But we haven't said here's the events. And what you guys are doing is old school CrossFit is these athletes are only going to get the day's events. Was it about 16, 18 hours prior to the next day of competition? Is that the plan? All right. So, Joe, you said we're going to get some hands and some things athletes maybe don't have in their gym, or maybe things they've never tried before, ever. What are some of the things, Bob, I'll start with you. What is a couple things you're looking forward to this weekend without maybe giving away too much?
Well,
it could be the event number. It could be.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, I'm really looking forward to the announce team announcing the names of the individual workouts, because they are fantastic. we ran with the theme this year, and we think the audience is really going to enjoy it.
I heard there's a very special theme for all the event names coming this weekend.
Yeah, and those are going to be great. But with only releasing the workouts, maybe 18 hours in advance, the athletes really don't have an opportunity to. All they can do is game plan for them, right? Mm-hmm. And who was it? Mike Tyson that said everybody has a plan until they get hit in the face.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be really fun to watch those plans unravel, and then see the athletes that the athletes that can overcome that challenge mid-workout, because it happens to everybody, right? You think that this workout is going to be, it's going to be, really shoulder intensive, and the next thing you know, your lungs are blown up, or whatever it is. It'll be great to watch that unfold as a spectator, as much as I can be a spectator.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe, now you had a pretty heavy hand in the programming. Obviously, you turned to Bob for advice, and then you get advice from other programmers in the space, especially the masters space. But is there I always have like a baby in the collection of events, and what's the one you're looking forward to the most? You don't have to say the name or what it is, but like, I have this one that I can't wait to see these athletes take on.
I can say the day, right, Bob?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so Saturday is going to be a really, really cool workout. It was something that I was putting together in my head. First, it was the format of the workout. I was kind of playing with that, factoring in, how do we get as much output from the athletes as possible and what we're putting them through. So strategically putting that order together. And then also, how do we let athletes showcase their skill in a couple certain movements, but they can't just muscle through it. They have to be efficient and smart. And it's going to be exciting because the work especially, but a lot of workouts that we program, we like to see who's going to take the bait on certain stuff. We like to
Yeah.
see, we like to see the workouts to where maybe the guy that has a complete round one don't even end up in the top 5. And it's like kind of see like who can be smart, who can attack it, or who can recognize like, hey, there's no pacing, there is no strategy, it's just work. And so Saturday I would say is the workout I'm most excited, but equally most nervous for, because in my head it's going to go perfectly.
Right.
It's going to be amazing. So
Yeah.
but it's going to be really fun to see. It's to see the results, man. Like just to see these people smash this workout. And Bob and I, we both tested it, and it's going to be really cool to see what they can do, and just to see it out there on the floor too. I mean, we tested it in a gym, and so it's different. Seeing it out there in a competition setting, that is what I can't wait to be surprised by what people see. I have a guess what certain things will end up and how their results will come out, but we're definitely going to see some surprises, and that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. And I had the privilege of talking to you guys about the programming previously, and I can say that these athletes are in for one heck of a weekend, and I mean that in the best of ways possible. The challenges that you guys have coming up, the excitement that you guys have, the uniqueness of things that are coming up, end to end, start to finish, 4 days, 9 events. These athletes are in for a great competition. And like you guys, I can't wait to see it play out as well. And I'm just a casual spectator of what the event is going to be. So, before we hop off here is, you guys talk a lot about, building up the Masters community, setting up the Masters, supporting, wanting the best for it. I'll ask you guys both this individually, and Bob, I'll start with you. Is looking at this is the off season, but we still want to be able to build a bigger brand for the Masters community. But a big part of this is the games season. And if you were to look at the games season, what is one thing, whether it's open qualifiers, movements, competitions in general, you would like to see added to the Masters or change to help improve either the experience or the competition itself?
Oof. I like the direction that CrossFit HQ has gone with adding the extra round of qualifying to get to the games. Mm-hmm. So it's there's a quarterfinals, a semifinals, and the games now. And at first I was like, oh no, change. I don't like change, right? But as I got to digest it a little bit more, I was like, yeah, that's cool. I really like how it's going to mimic the what I call the pro division, right?
Yeah.
It would be nice to see those turn into live competitions as well. I know that that's kind of a pipe dream given the logistical challenges of running that. But that would be kind of my dream scenario.
I like that. And I don't think it's as much of a pipe dream as we may think. One, because listen, CrossFit does the same thing you guys do. At least they do more now than they did in the past. Was they are being very conscientious and they are aware of the things going on in the off season. That's why, you guys are a CrossFit licensed event, and they want to see the success of your event help grow and promote the Masters community in the sport of CrossFit as well. And maybe with you guys already doing some type of regional qualifier could be the catalyst to further that in the game season.
Yeah, we hope so.
What about you? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How about you, Joe?
Let me see. Like Bob, I like that extra step that they're taking in the extra online qualifier. I'd like to see more consistency though at the games. Just the presence of number of competitors.
Okay.
I feel like the switch back and forth from 20 to 10, 10 to 20. It's difficult. I mean, obviously the top 5, top 7 maybe in each age category, they're not worried about it. But it's getting athletes to stay kind of motivated to make the games, especially if they're bubble athletes. to allow them to enter the game or make the games. And, like Bob and I, we program certain workouts that, you're going to see some leaderboard shakeups, some people that come in and kind of mess up the leaderboard a little bit, because I think that's needed. And with only 10 athletes, it's going to be limited. You're going to have less of those workouts or less of those people that can come in and kind of shake things up in the top 5. So I'd like to see more consistency out of the number of participants they're inviting to the games. So,
and you're talking more as you'd rather see like 20 as a bigger sample size during the competition?
Yeah, so 20, especially in the 35s, the 40s, the 45s, maybe trickle that down to 15s for the rest of the age categories, or somewhere out there. But or keep it consistent.
Yeah.
Let's just call it 15. 15 across the board.
Yeah, it's me right in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, but as Bob and I know, there's so many factors that you have to take into account. So I'm sure they have good reason for their decisions. And so, yeah, it's just from what I've seen, that'd be cool to see. But I do, understand that there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that just makes certain things impossible. So.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys know that firsthand by putting on an event at the size of which you guys currently have. I actually asked this question to Annie Sakamoto and Nuna Costa, and they're in the same boat as, obviously, it's always easier to digest something that's consistent. Whether you like it or don't like it, it's always easier just like, hey, this is the way it is, and now we need to adjust. And the back and forth can get challenging for a lot of people, and specifically like 20 to 10, 10 to 20, the qualifying process. I'm with you guys too, as I really love the season mimic of basically, Bob, as you said, the individual side is like open, quarterfinals, semifinals, and now we're getting to the CrossFit Games. So at least there's another layer of qualification, even though there's only 10. I think as things grow, right, we're basically hit the reset button in 2020, right, and trying to get what it's going to look like. And this is just another. It could be, hey, okay, this wasn't the right idea. Maybe 15 is the perfect number to land on, or maybe it is go back to 20, or move it a couple days ahead. But I wanted to get your guys' takes on this one more before we leave. Is the week of competition, say at the CrossFit Games? It was, Joe, back in 2012, 2013. And as you guys got, qualifying to the games, it was that early week masters teens, and then the late week of teams and individuals. And then they mashed it all together. I want to say, was it 17 or 18? And then 19, they had it on the same, and they moved it back. Yeah. What format do you guys prefer is that week setup of the CrossFit Games?
As somebody who's been there, I like to compete on different days. So because I'm a fan of the sport and I want to go watch the individual and teams when I'm done. So it's a very selfish reason, but that's
a personal question. Like
yeah, I like.
Joe, how about yourself?
Same answer. I liked it earlier in the week. So we were there 19 and 21. One as a coach, I liked it earlier in the week just because warm-up area was a little bit more open,
it
was kind of it was really cool to see all the masters athletes in the warm-up area, and like everyone's a masters athlete, so the camaraderie, the people having fun, hanging out, just talking. That was pretty cool. Where when it was all mashed together, there was just a lot more people. So it was a little hectic in 19. Again, back to as a fan in 19, I watched 0 events. I was coaching. I was, getting Bob warmed up, watching the workouts, running back and forth, logging in, 25,000 steps a day. And so there wasn't any time to spectate. So I didn't see any events in 19. I saw it all when I got back home, So in 21, it was cool to say like, all right, cool. We wrapped up our games and now we all just get to hang out as friends and watch the games and watch the pros and be a fan, which was really cool. Like I haven't done that since it was in California. And, so I prefer earlier in the week. I think the masters get more spotlight that way also.
Well, I like it. Well, gentlemen, thank you for taking the time. I'm so excited for the competition coming up starting on Thursday, December 9th. If you guys are in the San Diego area, make sure you guys show up in person and watch it live. If you can't, from around the world, you're going to have one of the most professional, I would say the most professional off-season event coverage-wise we've ever had. And again, it's all a testament to everything that you guys are putting into the event. And as you said before, you guys are just getting started. And if that's the case, I cannot wait to see where you guys are going. Joe, Bob, good luck. Legends Masters Championship, December 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Gentlemen, good luck. And
Cool.
thank you for everything that you're doing for the community.
Yeah, thanks, Chase. You bet, man.